These are the top 10 best champions in Paladins. Now I've done a lot of research in this video. I've researched who are the best champions in Paladins, but at the end of the day this is still gonna be my opinion, so do not take it personally. I will also be getting at least 2 champions in each role because I don't wanna fill this up with supports, because supports in this current meta is actually they're all pretty good in my opinion. So I'm gonna get at least 2 champions in each role to make this fair. Number 10 in the list is gonna be Skye. Now it's actually kind of funny because Skye is good but not really like a flanker. Don't get me wrong, you can play Skye as a flanker if you want to, but Skye is strong because you can play her like a support. If you use the talent Smoke and Daggers, Skye will be so strong, especially if you flank with your tank. If you do want to play solo, I guess, and you don't want to play with your tank, which is not really the best idea, because not only you can support a Skye, you can also do pretty good damage. Just imagine Skye and Azan combo. That is just so strong in my opinion. Both of you guys will just not die. So yeah, that's why I think Skye is really strong, because of Smoke and Daggers. Number 9 in the list is gonna be Fernando. It's crazy to think that all of Fernando's talents can actually be viable, but I would definitely recommend Scorch. In my opinion, Scorch is the best talent for Fernando. Ever since they changed Fernando, they turned his Aegis as his base kit. He just became so much better. You don't have to be just a point tank nowadays as Fernando, because back then you can just kinda be a point tank without really doing any damage. You're just blocking damage, and then if your teammates are dying you can save them, but that's basically it. But nowadays you can actually point tank and also do damage, which is so much better. You can even play flank Nando if you want to. He's also not very hard to use, so if you're like kinda new to the game and you want to rank up or just want to learn a tank, Fernando is definitely the best tank for you. Number 8 in the list is gonna be Furia. Now there's only really one talent that is good for Furia, which is like Solar Blessing. I feel like if you use any other talent for Furia, it's not particularly that good. But if I have to compare Cherish and Solar Blessing is so much better, like 10 times better. The thing that I love about this talent as well is that it doesn't matter if it's 90% anti-healing. Even in the late game, this talent can actually be really strong, because a lot of supports in the late game falls off because of their healing. But with Furia, you can be a damage and a support early to mid game. Your damage is pretty good, your heals are pretty good, even your ultimate is one of the best ultimate, at least in my opinion. As soon as you see your Furious ultimate, you don't want to fight the enemy team. Number 7 in the list is gonna be Vatu. Of course, Vatu will always be one of the best flankers. At this point, he needs a rework. At this point, he's just always so good. But yeah, anyway, he just has a really good mobility and a lot of burst damage. You won't even see him coming. Like, you don't even see him. He's just gonna go behind you, kill you really fast for like less than 2 seconds, and then leaves. And then if you did see him, you cannot even do anything because he can just stun you with his ultimate and then leaves. A really good Vatu player is so scary. It's like one of those EV players that they're just terrifying to face against. And I feel like Vatu has already been nerfed quite a lot actually. They did try to buff him this patch, which it didn't come true, which is thank god it didn't come true. But he got a bunch of nerfs back then and he's still one of the best flankers. But he is quite hard to play, so if you want to play this guy, you're gonna need to practice him. Number 6 on the list is gonna be Willow. Now I don't want to brag or anything, but I've always said back then that Willow is so underrated. I feel like people don't understand the fact that she's so useful in games because of the anti-healing. But then people started talking to me like, oh, but she's easy to counter, she's very squishy, which actually understandable. But ever since they changed her where she can like kind of fly around now, like float, she's suddenly like one of the best damage now. Like, oh wow. Oh wow, she's just so useful in every game, in any scenario. I feel like if you pick Willow, there's no bad matchup for you. I guess the only bad matchup for you is like they have double flanks or something, because you can just disable their tank. They cannot get the point because you just keep throwing the seedlings. Supports are useless because they cannot heal. She's just so good in my opinion, and she's also not very hard to use, so you can easily just play her. Number 5 on the list is gonna be Nyx. Now Nyx is just such a sustain tank. It's so hard to kill this tank, and for some reason every time I play her I feel like I don't even do a lot of damage, but then at the end of the match I'm doing the most damage. I do more damage than my damages, which is kind of weird. To be fair, her damage is not really like burst damage, I guess. Her damage is more like a dot damage, not a burst damage. This is probably why I'm doing a lot of damage. damage. Not only she can do AoE damage, she can also control the game like so easily because of her ultimate. She's also very tanky, and mind you, you cannot really buy Wrecker for her because it doesn't really counter her. The only thing you can counter her is like Unbound, but that's basically it. She's just so tanky in my opinion. Number 4 in the list is gonna be Bomb King. Bomb King has always been one of the best, if not the best damage, like for so long at this point. They completely rework his best talent, and surprise surprise, his best talent back then is still his best talent now, even though they reworked it, so nice I guess. The thing is with Bomb King, he can just basically do everything. That's why he has very burst damage, he has a good CC, he has good mobility now, and his ultimate is also really strong. So yeah, you have everything on BK. The only downside of BK is that he's quite hard to play. You definitely need to put some time on BK so you can like play him properly, but besides that, if you do learn him, he's so worth it and he's so good at the game. Number 3 in the list is gonna be Koga. Now for some PC players, you might be thinking like, oh, Koga, why is Koga like so high up in the list or something? But if you're using a controller, Koga will literally just shred you. I'm not even kidding. Of course, you don't have to use controller to make him good. In my opinion, even I'm playing Koga on PC and I'm still popping off with Koga in a way. He's just really strong, especially if you get like a pocket. Imagine having like a Genos or a Curvis. You're literally unstoppable. He's also not very hard to use, so you can easily just win. But I feel like he really only has like one good talent though, which is this one over here. In my opinion, this is just way too good. Number 2 in the list is gonna be Moji. I never knew that I would put Moji in a top 10 best champions. Like, I'm not even kidding. When she was a flanked, I always just hated her because she was so bad. You just cannot make her work. I mean, you can make her work like in the lower elo, I guess, but in the higher elo you go, she's useless. But ever since they changed her into a support, Jesus Christ, she can literally do everything. She has like this damage reduction, she can heal a lot. Her escape, you can just run infinitely, by the way. You can literally, it's basically Genos but better in my opinion. And you can get an insta kill with your ult. She can do so much, especially if you have this build. If you have this build specifically with this card over here, and then you buy Guardian, oh my god, not only you can heal, you can also give shield. So you're basically like a Torvald support hybrid. Like, oh my god, it's stupid. It's actually stupid. And I'm pretty sure Moji has, if I'm not wrong, the highest win rate out of all the supports. That's kind of saying something, you know? Like, please, can we nerf her? Like, hello? Number 1 in the list is gonna be Khan. Khan has always been one of the best off tanks in the game. No matter how much they nerf this guy, he's always gonna be in the top 5 best tanks because of his kit. His kit is just so good. It's so well made. At this point, you might as well just rework this guy because he's always so good. It doesn't matter what nerf you give him. He can be sustained with his shield and he can heal himself as well. He can throw enemies backwards and he can also yeet people. The thing that I hate the most about Khan is that literally as soon as a team fight starts, you can easily just grab someone, feed it to your teammates, and it's gonna be 5v4. It's not gonna be fair anymore. You just automatically win. There's nothing you can do unless he misses ult, then you know that's a problem. But and not only that, he's a really good off tank. He can like disturb enemies, especially if you have like, oh my god, just imagine a Sky Smoke Dagger and then you have a Khan. It's GG, like actually. Anyways, you guys agree with my top 10 over here? Comment down below if you guys agree with me or not. But of course, keep in mind that this is only my opinion, so do not take it personally. Well, that's it for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. See you, everybody.